What's up, SAC fans? I'm your host, Brittany Olaf, and this is your SAC Weekly Roundup. I hope everyone is having a great week so far. Let's go ahead and jump right into some news from around the conference. We want to start by celebrating some new coach hires. First up, Coker's new assistant women's basketball coach, Jasmine Kiersey, Tusculum's assistant men's lacrosse coach, Pop Luck, and Limestone's assistant men's lacrosse coach, Kevin Reisman. Welcome to the SAC, guys. Last week, we announced our men's and women's basketball preseason polls, so be sure to watch that video on any of our socials. Mars Hill's quarterback, Jimmy, did a takeover Thursday last week, so be sure to check that out in our Instagram highlights. Lenore Ryan began construction on its baseball facility for its 3-part phase upgrade to an AstroTurf playing surface, which will be named in honor of Rhett Durham, being called Durham Field. Don't forget, the majority of our schools have some really cool shows and podcasts, so be sure to check them out. Former Wingate volleyball player Corey McGowan earned this year's ABCA Diversity Award, so congrats to her and check out more on the story on their website. I had the privilege of interviewing the amazing Ann Hancock, the head women's basketball coach at Wingate, for this week's SAC Chat segment. Take a look. What's up, SAC fans, and welcome back to another SAC Chat interview. I'm here with Wingate's head women's basketball coach, Ann Hancock. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, so excited. So let's go ahead and jump right into some questions. First being, how excited are you to know that in just under 2 weeks, you and your team will be finally back on the court, kicking off conference play?
Well, that's a great question. I would probably describe it more as cautiously optimistic.
Yeah.
I think we are excited, but there is, some hesitation. Things change every day. One positive test can just throw everything, out of whack. So things have been rolling along pretty well here at Wingate, and so we are excited, but also know, okay, something could happen that changes all that, but we are looking forward to it, and I think it's a really good maybe stress relief for the girls to have something to do, to go to practice, and to have something to look forward to.
Yeah, for sure. Which actually leads me to one of my other questions was, how are the girls, how have they adapted to the whole new COVID environment since being back on campus?
Fortunately for us, our girls have taken it pretty seriously and have done an outstanding job of, knock on wood, so far, we haven't been sort of sidelined because of COVID. At one point, there were some cases on our campus, which everything was shut down, but specifically women's basketball, we haven't been shut down. So they've done a really good job of making good decisions and good choices. And so from that standpoint, they've done a nice job of staying safe and giving us an opportunity to practice and hopefully play some games. I don't think anybody particularly enjoys the test, but in order to be able to do the things that we want to do, sometimes you have to endure something that's maybe not that fun. But, our campus and our university is doing a good job of testing and making sure that everybody is as safe as they can be.
Yeah. And that's, I was going to say, it's crazy, these young girls, they come to college and they're like, oh, we get to have all this fun, but in a way, obviously COVID isn't the best thing, but it's kind of teaching these younger kids, responsibility and sacrifice and what it means to be a teammate, and that you have to sacrifice in order to, now get to even play a season. You have to sacrifice, hanging out with friends. So I give props to all the athletes right now, because it is a huge sacrifice, and they're doing an amazing job from our standpoint. So yeah.
Absolutely. And it is a sacrifice because, regular students are probably getting to maybe do some things that they can't do or shouldn't do right now. And fortunately enough for us, our girls seem to really get along well with each other, and so they spend a lot of time, outside of practice and class with each other, and they know that they're not positive because of the test. So, but it is a sacrifice, and they're making sacrifices. For example, we've asked them to maybe not go home at Thanksgiving. It would be a quick trip, but in order to give us the best chance possible to be able to play, and maybe nobody bring anything back to campus, that we will try to keep everybody in our own bubble for Thanksgiving. And that's definitely a sacrifice, because that's a big holiday when you get to spend time with friends and family and enjoy good food. We'll try to make some good food here and make it as homey as we can, but that is a sacrifice.
Well, those are always fun. I mean, you got to make the most of it. That'll be fun for them to be together, and they'll get to, hopefully in the future, they'll get to go home for that. 1 year of sacrifice isn't too bad. So,
absolutely.
Anyway, so with the girls, you kind of hit on, they like to spend a lot of time together outside of basketball and everything. What are some specific team activities or exercises you have kind of put them through to ensure that the team chemistry is there before you play this first game?
Well, we have a new graduate assistant this year, Cairo Booker, and she had been at Wofford previously before coming to Wingate, and they had a really kind of neat thing that they did in their preseason. And so we sort of adopted what they were doing, and it incorporated a lot of different things. We've partnered our players, 2 people together, and then we've given them assignments. Each week it's a different assignment. So 1 week their partner, they may have the assignment of they have to do some sort of community service. And then the next week, maybe they have to do a random act of kindness. And then another week, they have to maybe host a team bonding event. So that has sort of forced them to be a little bit creative, because with COVID, they're limited to maybe where you can go to do community service and those kind of things. But they've been good at finding ways to get out in the community and stay safe. And then almost every year, it seems like they always say, "Coach, we want to do more team building. We want to do team bonding." And I'm like, okay, well then
do it.
Do some, like that doesn't require me to always like host an event. So this way they have come up with what is fun for them and things that they could do and still keep the safety measures in place. And last week they did, it was really kind of cool, the 2 hosts, they had gotten some canvases and some paint, and then they each got to paint a picture of something that they like. A lot of them did some cartoons and things. So that was kind of cool, for them to be able to spend some time together. And, some of the activities have to be outside because of the limits on gatherings and things like that. And then it's giving them a chance to learn how to plan. Like if they have food, okay, you're going to need some plates. You're going to maybe need some forks and napkins and cups and things that they don't always think about, that when we do it, it's just there. And so that's kind of been fun to hear some of the they had spaghetti and then maybe didn't have bowls for the salad or, whatever. So that's been a really good thing for us. I'm sorry?
They're learning lots of new lessons this year.
Absolutely. So that's been fun to watch.
I actually follow you guys on Instagram, and I had saw last week that you put on your story that they had bought lunch, or you guys had provided lunch for the 2 SIDs or video guys at Wingate, Sam and Trey. So I'm also really good friends with them. I saw that, and that was really awesome. I love it.
Yeah, and the players picked that. That's that was the random act of kindness. And Our guys in the sports information and marketing and media, they do a fantastic job. And the week before, we had our picture day, and Trey let them do all of the GIFs that they wanted to. So they really like that, and they like being in front of the green screen taking pictures. So that was really, really nice.
Yeah, those are some great guys. I'm really close friends with them, so that's awesome. Well, my last question for you is, you are obviously an alumni and very accomplished alumni, but you have been a part and led many other basketball programs before you returned to Wingate. Can you tell us a little bit about what your coaching philosophy is and why it's been so instrumental in your journey as a coach?
Well, I'm really blessed to have arrived back at Wingate. This place is incredibly special to me because I did play here, and it's near and dear to my heart, and I really love all that Wingate encompasses to me. You know, our motto is faith, service, and knowledge, and we try to take all of that seriously and give the girls an opportunity to try and live by those things. And so we've already touched on sort of my coaching philosophy, is I think that basketball is just sort of a vehicle to learn life lessons. And, you know, they're going to experience so many things maybe later in life that are hard, and they don't know that they're coming. And if they can navigate through college basketball, you know, with a positive attitude and a mindset, then that sort of gives them a good foundation to be able to sort of overcome the challenges that they're going to be faced later. And some of the other things that we have been doing in those weekly things is we have been writing letters to alumni or donors. And you'd be amazed at how many people do not know how to address an envelope.
I actually didn't either. So like when I started working here, I was like, oh my God, I need to learn this stuff.
I know. And it's some things that maybe, you know, I would take for granted.
Yeah.
And, you know, how to write a thank you note. And, you know, that's just a small example of that's something that they're probably going to need later. Yeah. But if we can teach them now, that maybe will help them be successful down the road. We take being on time very seriously, learning how to communicate, learning how to have eye contact. If you have a problem or a concern, just go to the person and be able to communicate with the professor, and, you know, not always send a text message, that you might have to do something in person when you can. And I think that's really what my philosophy is all about, is trying to prepare them for things that are going to come later and how to be successful and productive citizens in the community.
Yeah, and I love that. I used to play, I played volleyball at Belmont Abbey. So I definitely took with me that I knew that I would need that in the workforce, and I'm so thankful that my coach as well, you know, taught me all these life skills that at the time I didn't know were going to be so important, and now I see they're so important. So you're right, you know, you need that, and they don't see it now, but they will see it in the future. So I love that.
And that's one thing that's, you know, brings a smile to my face, is after they've been gone for a couple of years, and then maybe they come back and they go, now I understand what you were talking about and why you made us do this, or, you know, why we had to do that. And then I'm like, okay, that is all worth it, because a lot of times they don't understand in the moment.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I call my coach a lot. I text her a lot, and I'm always like, yeah, you know, thanks for telling me this, because I learned this from you. Like, she was like, I told you. And I'm like, oh, I know. But yes, that's all I have for you today. I want to thank you so much for taking the time to come on the show with us. and I want to wish you guys the best of luck in this season. I'm praying and hoping for a smooth-ish season. But yeah, thank you so much for being on today.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I enjoyed spending some time with you. And yeah, fingers are crossed.
I know.
For 2 weeks from now that we're getting to tip it off.
Yes, ma'am. All right. Well, I hope.
Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you. Have a great day.
Okay.
Wasn't she the best? A lot of good advice in that interview. But that's all I had for you guys today. So if you want to read more on these stories, you can find them linked on our Adobe Spark page, which can be found on our website. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you right back here next Wednesday.